Stop and think about the big picture for just 1 minute. Hey, what do you hear? What do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, your sister's there. It's a Pony Express. A very ticked off Vic here. You know what ticks me off? Americans who aren't making this easy. Now follow me. I want to tell you a little history, so listen up. Imagine if you were born in 1900. My grandparents were. When you turn 14, World War I starts and the war ends on your 18th birthday. The country pulled together. 22 million people were killed. Later that year, a Spanish flu epidemic hits the planet and runs until you are 20 years old. 50 million people died from the Spanish flu in 2 years. Nobody called it a hoax. Nobody said it wasn't real. Now you turn 29 and the Great Depression begins. Unemployment hits 25%. This lasts until you are 33. The country nearly collapsed along with the world economy. The people dealt with it. They had to make sure they could feed and clothe their families. When you turn 39, World War II starts. You're 39 years old, and now you've been through a pandemic, 2 world wars, and a Great Depression. And you keep helping to move your country forward. When you turn 41, the U.S. is fully pulled into World War II. Between your 39th and 45th birthday, 75 million people will be killed, and the Holocaust will kill 6 million innocent men, women, and children. When you're 52, the Korean War starts, and 5 million more will die. Just when you think you might catch a break, the Vietnam War begins and the Cuban Missile Crisis occurs. This is the tipping point in the Cold War and could have started World War III. You turn 75 and Vietnam ends, and you watch the country suffer through Watergate. This was your grandparents' life. Stop and think about the big picture for just 1 minute. You know, I have a good buddy. He's a big, tough guy, and I love him to death. He's the very definition of who you want next to you in a foxhole. He was a Marine during Vietnam. Purple Hearts, Bronze Stars, the whole thing. Came back and spent 30 years in law enforcement. He is as Republican and as conservative as you can get. And he's wearing a mask because his elderly mother lives in his house and she is compromised, and he wants to take as little risk when he goes outside as possible. Is he taking away your freedom? He fought for your freedom. Listen, everyone has the freedom to go stick a lit candle up their ass to burn off that pesky hemorrhoid that the creams don't seem to cure in your own home. But the minute you try to do the same thing in front of school children on a playground in public is when it starts to be considered wrong. Gabish? It's like freedom of speech. Most of the idiots screaming about freedom of speech have no fucking idea what the hell it actually means. Here's a question that some of you geniuses might answer for me. I saw the video of the pretty nurse saying how bad masks are. If masks don't work, why do every doctor and every nurse wear them during every operation in every operating room around the world? If the masks are bad and the CO2 fucks with your brain and your health, why does every surgeon have a mask on during a difficult surgery while he's poking around in your fucking brain or your heart or your lungs? Because that pretty nurse is a piece of shit spreading propaganda and helping to make the world a little stupider to those willing to believe her. No one is taking away anybody's freedom. No one is going to make you have a chip implanted in your body. Don't you realize these are phony stories that are being flooded into the social media so they create fear and panic and conspiracy theories? What happened to this country? Didn't you listen to what your tough motherfucking ancestors did to help build this country during unbelievably difficult time? They didn't complain about their freedom because no one was taking it away. They didn't complain they had to wear a mask in 1918 because it was the right thing to do. They didn't spread rumors about having chips implanted in their head. They all became united and fought the real enemy for their entire lifetime. They fought the countries at war with us and the diseases at war with us. They were Americans. You want to wear a mask? Wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask? Don't wear a mask. And by the way, because about 75% of all people believe we should wear masks, it isn't about Democrats and Republicans. 75% means a bipartisan, overwhelming majority of Americans think people should wear a mask until we beat this virus with a vaccine or a cure. To those of you who make it seem like being asked to wear a mask around other people is like forcing you to skip to a fucking minefield under sniper fire or jump out of a fucking plane without a parachute, you have your freedom. You're not going to jail. No one's putting a fucking chip in your head. The CDC and the FDA and all the experts are simply asking you to maybe wear a mask when you're around people because masks work and they protect others around you. And no matter how many conspiracy videos the Russian bots and the conspiracy theorists pump into social media, it's not going to change the facts. I'm done. Hey, look, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. In this case, you can lead a dope to facts, but you can't make it think. Come on, people. We all want to reopen the country immediately, but we can do it safely, too. These two things can be done at the same time. We can be smart about reopening the country right now. Why wouldn't we want to open up and immediately and be smart? Masks aren't forever. They weren't in 1918 either. Americans who aren't making this easy, that's what fucking ticks me off.